You know, communication is a funny thing. A lot of people communicate from their wounds, from their triggers, and from their insecurities. And that's why at times when somebody says something to you, or if you want to get your point across, you feel this ickiness of pushing. And usually in that ickiness of pushing, the person who's receiving your pushing is going to push back. And you're wondering why you can't change people. You can't influence people. Well, for one thing, you can't change anybody. You can only lead. And if you don't know how to effectively communicate with people in order to get on the same page, to have a common understanding in order to get the result you're after, you're missing out on an integral skill in life. Because chances are, especially in business, especially in entrepreneurship, especially in sales, if you don't understand people and how they function, and if you're just pushing more information, repeating the same information that you've been told, you're being a repeater versus a leader. If you're just pushing and prodding and poking and saying, you need to do this, and these are the 4 steps, and here's this, and here's this, people don't like to be spoke to that way. People don't like to be poked in their chest. People don't like to be wrong. But when you can sit back and welcome them in and enroll them in the conversation by one, asking questions. What would be possible, right? It's a great question to ask. What would be possible? It just opens people's minds. Even the most closed-minded people have a tough time of not opening it up with a question like that. And a huge part of communication is understanding yourself. Because a lot of times, even though we're so different in a lot of different ways, we are the same in a lot of ways as well. So the things that trigger you are likely triggering to others. But yet again, if you're communicating out of your wounds, out of your scars, out of your pain, out of your past suffering, you're communicating out of being triggered and off balance when you're not in your power, when you're not centered, when you're not fully present in this moment. And when you communicate out of pain, you put pain on somebody else. They feel that. This world we're living in, it's not only the empath that are sensitive to energy these days. We are all waking up to being more sensitive, more aware of energy. And so if you're pushing at people, if you're trying to make somebody wrong because you feel wrong, if you're trying to make somebody feel inadequate because you feel inadequate, but yet you want a different result out of your communication, you're missing the bus. And all great leaders know how to communicate effectively to bypass the triggers, bypass the mental filters in people's minds, to hit home, not to their brains. Yes, we can say things in a certain way to tickle people's brains, have these aha moments, these epiphanies. Oh, I never thought about it like that. But essentially, you want to speak to somebody's heart. You want to come to know that person as you and know that we're in this together. All have the same hopes, the same desires, the same dreams. They're just shined differently. And when you can start to lead people and communicate with people the way you would want to be communicated with, not from your triggers, not from your fears, not from your insecurities, but from your heart, from your centeredness, and from being here in this present moment, right here and right now with that person you're communicating with, damn, that's powerful. That is huge. And I promise you, if you want to stand out in this information overloaded world we're living in right now, this busyness, noisiness, world we're living in, find a way to speak to somebody's heart. Not from your pain, not from your suffering, not from your doubts, your fears, and your inadequacies, but rather from your power, your strength, from knowing yourself and from caring deeply with others. And when you do that, my friend, life simply works.